Hello, you're kicking off the Thursday's edition of Qpvn English News Bulletin with Milinchi and the headlines. Australian Governor-General pays state visit to Vietnam. ASEAN unity for security and prosperity. VIET show in the national flag. On September 10th, President Lương Cường and his spouse hosted a solemn welcoming ceremony for Governor-General of Australia, Sam Mostyn, and her husband on their state visit to Vietnam. President Lương Cường warmly welcomed Governor-General Mostyn, her husband, and the Australian delegation, extending congratulations on Australia's solid achievements in economic growth, social welfare, and its rising role and position in the region and the world. Governor-General Mostyn, in return, congratulated Vietnam on its remarkable progress, affirming that Australia remains a trusted and long-standing partner, committed to supporting Vietnam in its reform to become a high-income nation by 2045. Both sides agreed to sustain the momentum of delegation exchanges and high-level contacts across party, state, national assembly, and local channels to deepen information sharing, reinforce political trust, and enhance mutual understanding, laying the groundwork for broader cooperation. They identified defense and security cooperation as the key pillar of the bilateral relationship and agreed to expand effective collaboration in this field. The two countries also agreed to advance bilateral economic ties, targeting $20 billion in trade and doubling two-way investment in the coming years. Australia reiterated its close coordination and support for Vietnam and ASEAN's principled stance on ensuring peace, security, and freedom of navigation and overflight in the South China Sea, RSC, with disputes resolved peacefully in line with international law, especially the 1982 UNCLOS. On September 10th in Hanoi, the Central Military Court held a ceremony to mark the 80th founding anniversary of the Military Court, September 13th, 1945, and received the second-class Fatherland Protection Order. General Trịnh Văn Quyết, chairman of the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army, attended the event. The second-class Fatherland Protection Order is a prestigious award conferred by the party and the state, which is a great pride for the military court system. On behalf of the Central Military Commission, the Ministry of National Defense, and the General Political Department, General Trịnh Văn Quyết commended and congratulated the Central Military Court and the entire military court system for their remarkable achievements. Over the past 80 years, cases brought before the courts have been handled with the miscarriages of justice, thus earning high consensus from officers, soldiers, and the people. Justice has been upheld, while the reputation of the military court has been enhanced. A series of complex and sensitive cases have been resolved definitely, reinforcing the people's trust in the discipline of the military and the Vietnamese judicial system. Military courts have effectively advised the party committees at all levels and combatants in lawmaking, as well as in strengthening socialist legality, combating crime and violations of law and military discipline, while actively participating in legal education. On the morning of September 10th, the 22nd ASEAN Chiefs of Defense Forces meeting, RACDFM, for a short kick-off in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army and Double Minister of National Defense, attended the meeting and delivered an important speech. At ACDFM 2022, Chiefs of Defense Forces of ASEAN countries expressed support for the 2025 theme chosen by Malaysia, ASEAN Unity for Security and Prosperity. The joint statement of the conference reaffirmed the importance of exercising self-restraint in activity that could possibly complicate or escalate tensions and affect peace and stability, while pursuing measures to resolve disputes through peaceful means in accordance with international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS, as well as strengthening trust and mutual confidence. Speaking at the conference, General Nguyễn Tân Cương stated that the world and the region are experiencing profound epochal changes. More than ever, ASEAN needs to promote its central role and strengthen international unity through concrete actions. Regarding the East internationally known as South China Sea issues, General Nguyễn Tân Cương affirmed that Vietnam consistently adheres to the stance of resolving disputes by peaceful means on the basis of respecting independence, sovereignty, and legitimate interests of nations, complying with international law, especially the 1982 UNCLOS. Vietnam supports the full implementation of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the EC and the early conclusion of an effective and substantive Court of Conduct in the EC in accordance with international law and the 1982 UNCLOS. General Nguyễn Tân Cương proposed 4 specific directions of continuing to strengthen ASEAN solidarity and centrality, enhancing the effectiveness of existing defense cooperation mechanisms, particularly in responding to non-traditional security challenges. Vietnam reaffirmed its commitment to actively contributing to regional and international defense cooperation, strengthening the sharing of strategic information among ASEAN armed forces, promoting cooperation to enhance response capacity to non-traditional security threats, furthermore, cyber security. And especially, Vietnam reiterated commitment to promoting defense exchanges through flexible activities suitable to its country's conditions. Military cultural exchanges help strengthen mutual understanding, foster friendship, and consolidate solidarity among ASEAN military personnel. The conference concluded the handover of the chairmanship of the 23rd ICDFM, the 23rd AMIM, and the 16th AMOM to the Philippines in 2026. During his working trip to the Republic of Korea to attend the 14th Seoul Defense Dialogue, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Defense Minister, held bilateral meetings with the head delegates from Malaysia, Turkey, and Singapore, and received the CEO of VIET Company, the Republic of Korea. The meeting with Mr. Adli Zahari, Deputy Minister of Defense of Malaysia, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến suggested both sides enhance bilateral cooperation between services, expand young office exchanges, and support the signing of a memorandum of understanding on maritime law enforcement and research and rescue. He also proposed an agreement on joint maritime patrols and a communication channel between the two navies, as well as coordination in information sharing, law enforcement, and support for fishing vessels and fishermen. The meeting with Mr. Jagir Mohamad, Senior Minister of State for Defense of Singapore, the two leaders praised bilateral defense cooperation results. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến proposed Singapore soon receive Vietnamese officers to work at the ADMM Cybersecurity and Information Center. Mr. Jagir Mohamad appreciated the performance of Vietnamese officers at the IFC and RSCC, affirming Singapore's readiness to expand cooperation with Vietnam in areas such as disaster response and search and rescue. Meeting Mr. Musa Haybat, Deputy Minister of Defense of Turkey, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến conveyed General Phan Văn Giang thanks to Turkish Defense Minister Jasta Güler for accepting the invitation to officially visit Vietnam. On future cooperation, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến proposed that the two defense militaries continue maintaining exchanges at all levels and consider establishing consultation mechanisms such as the Vietnam-Turkey Deputy Ministerial Defense Policy Dialogue and a joint working group. Vietnam also welcomed Turkish enterprises to visit and seek cooperation opportunities. Both sides will explore the potential for cooperation and experience sharing in areas such as UN peacekeeping operations, Navy, Air Force, cybersecurity, and responses to non-traditional security challenges. Receiving Mr. Paul Cheng, CEO of VIET Company, the Republic of Korea, Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến expressed his pleasure with the cooperation between VIET and Viettel Military Industrial Telecoms Group, noting that the cooperation potential remains significant. Mr. Paul Cheng expressed his hope that the Ministry of National Defense of Vietnam could create favorable conditions for the two sides to seek cooperation opportunities in fields matching their strengths and needs. As the invitation of the UK's Department for Business and Trade, mission of the Ministry of National Defense of Vietnam, led by Senior Lieutenant General Phung Sĩ Tấn, that was Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army, attended the Defense and Security Equipment International, or DSEI UK in short, for September the 9th to the 11th in London. This year's event attracted more than 45,000 visitors and 1,600 international defense enterprises showcasing their products. The Vietnamese Ministry of National Defense Mission visited booths and exhibition areas of several major global companies and corporations and held meetings and exchanges with partners on issues of mutual interest. Senior Lieutenant General Phung Sĩ then thanked the militaries of defense enterprises and corporations of participating countries for attending and exhibiting at the Vietnam International Defense Expo 2024, thereby making important contribution to the overall success of the event. He expressed his hope for their continued support and participation in future iterations of the Vietnam Defense Expo. Coming up next, Vietnam-Laos agricultural cooperation promoted. VIET showed in the national flag. On September 10th, the authorities of Odomsai Province, Laos, hosted the international workshop on tropical pumpkin varieties, roadmap to UPOV membership and upgrading cooperation. The event marked an important milestone in Vietnam-Laos agricultural cooperation, opening new opportunities for Laos seed industry. At the workshop, experts and scientists presented and evaluated trial results of tropical pumpkin varieties provided by the World Vegetable Center. Many varieties showed outstanding traits such as high yield, rich beta-carotene content, and virus resistance, contributing to public health improvement and sustainable livelihoods in both Vietnam and Laos. Participants also shared international experience on plant variety protection and discussed Laos' roadmap to join the UPOV Convention, an important step toward agricultural integration and sustainable development. The event also witnessed the signing of a strategic cooperation agreement between VIET Group and Photor Aldong Company, a leading seed distributor in Laos. The two sides agreed to jointly build demonstration models, develop and commercialize promising F1 hybrid pumpkin varieties in the Lao market, while expanding cooperation to key crops such as rice and sticky corn. In addition, the workshop announced the results of trials for 14 new F1 pumpkin hybrids jointly implemented by World Veg and VIET in Vietnam and Laos in 2025. The red flag with the golden star is the national flag of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, also a sacred symbol of a persistent and steadfast journey to gain independence, freedom, and affirm the standing of a nation. Vietnamese people worship their national flag. The red flag with a golden star appears in all important events from the National Day, Lunar New Year, to sporting events, international conferences, and cultural activities. The Vietnamese people have been expressing love for their country in their own way. For Major Bùi Hoàng Ly Ly and Major Nguyễn Văn Nguyên, they used blood donation certificates, proof of a good deed of love for their fellow countrymen, to form a red flag with a golden star and number 80. The flag painted by blood donation certificates not only symbolize shared life, but also a symbol of peace, of sacred pride when the country marks 80 years of the National Day. For them, loving the flag is also loving peace, contributing to preserving and spreading the sacred values that generations of Vietnamese people have sacrificed to gain. The previous generations made all our efforts to safeguard the country. We have also contributed our part to help our compatriots overcome difficulties. We feel so proud of donating our blood and spreading patriotism on the occasion of the 80th anniversary of Vietnam's National Day. There are few nations that fall in love with the national flag like the Vietnamese people. My wife and I decided to use our blood donation certificates to form the national flag and number 80, showing the meaning of the 80th anniversary of the National Day. Seeing the development and peace like today, we're so proud to be a Vietnamese. This pride is further enhanced when we sing the national anthem under the national flag and feel the peace and national independence. As for the young girl Lê Thu Phương, her love for Vietnam is expressed through making a graduation cap for over a week to show up on the stage for only 10 seconds, but it makes all participants to recognize that it is a Vietnamese girl. The red flag with a golden star on the cap is not only a personal mark, but also a national pride carried on her own path. The idea of making a cap with a red flag and a golden star came from the desire to bring the image of my homeland into my graduation ceremony. It took me about a week to make it. I believe that small actions like bringing the Vietnamese flag to the world or sharing research in my project will contribute to spreading love and pride for Vietnam. From Vietnamese flags made from blood donation certificates to small national flags on graduation caps, all share the same meaning. The love for the country always stay in the hearts of Vietnamese people. The red flag with a golden star is not only a symbol of the fatherland, but also a bond that connects, inspires, and arouses pride for its person to look towards the future. It is the end of the English news bulletin today. You can watch the news again at qpvn.vn. But goodbye and see you next time.